I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Bibliospren, Bibliohowlers, and my Bibliomancers. It means a lot to me that you give me your extra support for my passion and hobby. Hi everyone, Peter here. Today's video will be another episode of SFF Spotlight. This is episode 58 and it has been 2 weeks since I posted an SFF Spotlight episode. Some of you have been asking me about when I will be posting an SFF Spotlight episode, and I'm happy to hear that. And yeah, it is today. The reason I waited 2 weeks before I post another SFF Spotlight episode is because, as I always say, I want to make sure that I have enough substantial news first before I post another episode. And today, I have enough news about new cover reveals, new book news, new special edition, and Kickstarter campaign, and all that to spotlight to you. So let's start with new book news first. The first one is about a new debut novel from a self-published fantasy or sci-fi author, and this one sounds incredibly exciting for me. This has been pitched as Hyperion meets True Detective. Both are books, while the other one is a movie or a miniseries that I love. I love Hyperion, I love True Detective, especially season 1, and this is The Dirge of Cascius by Calum Lott. And the cover art is illustrated by John Devlin. I think this cover art looks amazing. Both front and back cover looks really good. And there will be a murder mystery taking place in this science fantasy novel, which is slated to be a duology. I think one of the things that I really love about this cover art is not only the artwork itself. I mean, John Devlin is one of my favorite artists. If you are a fan of From Software games, you will know the name John Devlin. He has illustrated a lot of beautiful fan art of From Software games and also artwork for Vadi Vidya. But on top of that, I think the typography by Rachel St Clair complement the artwork so damn well, and I look forward to reading this book as soon as I can. If you are a reviewer, well, there is a form. There's a form for the advanced reading copy, and you can request to read and review this book as soon as possible. And also, I don't know if you know about this, but John Devlin is also the one who illustrated the artwork for my YouTube banner with me and Chocoboy. Yeah, this is done by John Devlin as well, and I'm happy to see another author using his talent to work on their book cover. But moving on after that, this is not a new book, but this is a new audiobook, which is, it has been a long time coming. This is an audiobook for Curse of the Misrate by Johnny Woods, the first book in Wars of Light and Shadow, which will be ending in the month of May. And somehow, it is only now that the first book received an audiobook. I know, it sounds crazy, and to make things even worse, it is no guarantee that the second book and beyond will receive an audiobook unless the audiobook of Curse of the Misrate, well, unless the sales is good. So if you love Wars of Light and Shadow and you want to try reading the series using audiobook, this is your chance to do it. You will be helping Johnny Woods get the possibility of the next book in the series receiving an audiobook treatment as well. And not only that, I know that I have mentioned many times that I want to start reading Words of Light and Shadow, but as I always say, it depends on my reading mood. But I think this time my mood is here, and hopefully I can start reading Curse of the Misrate next month. And then moving on after that, this is not a new book announcement, but this is a series announcement. Some of you might have known about this quite popular self-published fantasy novel, a standalone novel titled Battle Mage by Peter Flannery. I have tried reading this one, but when I was reading this, I wasn't feeling like I was in the right reading mood, but I heard it gets better and better with each chapter. Well, Peter Flannery, after many years, have finally announced Battle Mage will have a prequel novel and also a sequel novel, making it a trilogy. The title of the series is Souls of Wrath, and the prequel novel is going to be released this year. The sequel novel will be released next year in 2025. If you have read Battle Mage, do let me know what you think about that book. Do you think it is an amazing standalone, and do you think it needs a sequel and a prequel novel? And moving on after that, we have the announcement for the first 3 books in Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman getting a traditional published edition. But this is only for the first 3 books in the series, and also only for the physical copies. The ebooks, as far as I know, will still be self-published. Not a surprise about this decision, because Dungeon Crawler Car is incredibly popular and well received. The self-published and the ebook edition is already mega popular and successful. It basically doesn't need a traditional published treatment anymore. But I think it is a good thing to apply the traditional publication treatment to the hardcover and also the paperback so that it will appear on bookstores in physical format. I look forward to reading Dungeon Crawler Car for the first time. I heard so many great things about this lit RPG series. One among many reviewers who praised Dungeon Crawler Car is Daniel Green. And speaking of Daniel Green, the next news, this is about a Kickstarter campaign, and this is for an omnibus deluxe edition of the first 2 books of the Lawful Time series by Daniel Green. And the cover art is done by Lena Richards. I think the cover art is absolutely gorgeous. And although the Kickstarter campaign hasn't gone live yet, the Kickstarter page is up now. And yeah, I will be talking about Kickstarter campaign and also backer kit campaign. There aren't too many of them in this episode. In fact, I only have 2 more to spotlight. And the next one is again about 1,000 Li, the deluxe edition, the deluxe omnibus edition of the first 3 books being compressed into one. And this is looking beautiful. It has already funded. The base book will feature acid-free paper, Smithson binding, and also gilded page edges. Additionally, it has an embossed and foiled satin silk-bound case with art from Ambi Sun Studios and a reversible double-sided dust jacket featuring custom art plus interior artwork from Flag Art Studios. I haven't read the 1,000 Li series yet. I know that it is ending next year. I heard that it is a fun progression fantasy or xianxia series, and I look forward to reading this series for the first time. Fingers crossed using this beautiful deluxe hardcover edition. And then finally, the last crowdfunding campaign I'm going to spotlight today. This is about Darkthorn, the preferred edition or version by Sean Spickman. So this is an updated of an already released book. Sean Spickman is determined to make this the ultimate form of the book Darkthorn. There is still more than a month before the backer kit campaign goes live for this one, but if you want to check out the page, it is already available, and it has been confirmed that the cover art will be done by Magali Villeneuve, an amazing artist who did the cover art of The King Killing Queen by Sean Spickman as well. I look forward to the release of the Darkthorn. I haven't read this one. I have read The King Killing Queen, and I think that was a really good and accessible fantasy novel. So that's it on the section of crowdfunding campaign. Now let's move on to talk about special editions. We have a lot of special editions to spotlight today, and the first 4 or 5 will be from the Broken Binding. Yeah, the Broken Binding has been busy the past 2 weeks, and that includes myself as I work as an art director for some of their projects, such as this one. The next one is for the Sun Eater by Christopher Ruocchio. So the board art or the naked hardcover art of Howling Dark has been revealed. The naked hardcover art is illustrated by Peng Lu, and this is the battle on the Demi-Urge. I am in love with the result of this naked hardcover art. I think it is so beautiful, and me and Christopher Ruocchio, both of us are working as co-art director for the Sun Eater project, and both of us tried our best to make sure, well, Christopher Ruocchio is involved, so obviously he knows the details the most, and we try our best to make sure the artwork stay true to the text as much as possible while looking pretty badass. And just as a reminder, this is for the naked hardcover art. That means there will be no text. There will be no typography involved in this Howling Dark board art. But there will be more details about the Broken Binding edition of the Sun Eater on, I think, on the next episode and also on the next few weeks. But as a refresher, this edition will come with a reversible dust jacket, naked hardcover art, and also illustrated and papers. And for the cover art of Empire of Silence, Mike from Mike Books Review has chosen the scene for me and also Christopher Ruocchio plus the artist to work on, and hopefully the result will be out soon. That's why we revealed the board art of Howling Dark first. But this is not the only edition from the Sun Eater that received an update, because Christopher Ruocchio just revealed the cover art to Queen Amid Ashes, the second companion novel in the Sun Eater series. And this one, the new cover art is illustrated by John Barry Ballaran, the same artist who did the cover art of the Dregs of Empire. And I think this one turns out really well. I really love the details. And before the Dregs of Empire, I haven't heard the name John Barry Ballaran, and I think as a fan of the Sun Eater, we will be hearing the name John Barry Ballaran frequently. But back to the news about the Broken Binding. This is about the Dandelion Dynasty by Peng Lu, the Midnight Edition. You can probably see here behind me the original Broken Binding set of the Dandelion Dynasty by Peng Lu. And now Broken Binding is going to release the new Midnight Edition. It is basically the same edition as this one, but the color scheme will be in purple. And the general sale for this will take place on Monday, so make sure to not miss this date. I have no idea how many stocks will be available, but it will be available to general sale for sure. And moving on after that, we have the reveal. Well, it has been leaked for a week now, but this is the end paper to Memories of Ice, the front end paper, and this one is illustrated by Rene Aigner. This is the Siege of Kapustan, and here you can see Gruntle and Stony fighting off a horde of Tennes Kauri. It's not super accurate to the actual scene, but I think it managed to capture the spirit of the Siege of Kapustan. But there are still, if possible, some things that I would like, just a few things that I would like to change in this art, but it all depends on whether it is still possible or not, because even though the sales for the first set of Malazan is going to take place within this year, it is still a few months, I think, before the pre-order will take place. But the deadline for all the art, well, they have to be turned in by now. So yeah, if we miss some tiny details, then you will most likely understand why, but we'll see whether some few changes can still be made about this art. But personally speaking, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. The cover art and also the end paper artwork, which I'm going to reveal with every new upcoming SFF Spotlight episode. I hope all of you will like the result. Well, not all of you. I'm sure some of you will disagree, but I hope many of you will like the result. And then finally, the last Broken Binding edition I'm going to spotlight today is the cover reveal of the Andy Weir Collection, which is the first sci-fi subscription books from the Broken Binding. And they are The Martian, Artemis, and finally Project Hail Mary. The cover to these three books, all of them are designed by Ray Mulligan. I have read only The Martian and Project Hail Mary. I personally love The Martian more, but I haven't read Artemis yet. I heard that Artemis is the weakest out of the three books by Andy Weir. But do let me know what you think about this artwork and also the books. Which one was your favorite from Andy Weir? And then moving on, this is for the Poppy War Illustrated Edition by R.F. Kuang, which is slated to be released at the end of this year. But this edition, it will come with a new cover art by JungShan Ink. I heard there will be interior artwork by JungShan Ink as well. JungShan Ink is, well, the cover artist behind the original, the first of three books in the Poppy War trilogy. Well, all the three books in the Poppy War trilogy, but the first edition. But I think R.F. Kuang and Harper Voyager is going to do many great things with this illustrated edition, and they will sell really well. In fact, when R.F. Kuang announced this on her Instagram page, the book instantly became the #1 best-selling book on Barnes & Noble, and also it reached a very high sales rank on Amazon as well. Never underestimate the popularity and fame of R.F. Kuang. She is super popular now. And well, I love the Poppy War trilogy. I look forward to getting myself a copy of this illustrated edition. And onward to the next one. This is about the Folio Society edition, the summer collection of the year 2024. There are some quite exciting titles here. But the most exciting one for me is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I think the Folio Society will do such a fantastic job with this edition. I cannot wait to see the reveal of their edition of The Song of Achilles. But if you are a fan of the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark, well, their edition, illustrated by Charles Vess, is available to order now. And well, I think I heard from Folio Society that more than half of the stock is gone now, and the signed edition was instantly sold out. So yeah, it is not possible to get the signed edition now, but if you want to get the non-signed edition of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, illustrated by Charles Vess, you can still get it. And I think this is the first time I actually see a 3-page and paper artwork, and it looks gorgeous. The entire book has been divided into 3 volumes, and I think the price, if I'm not mistaken, is about 100 or 150 pounds. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, if you're a fan of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, this is your chance to get it. And also, I believe Folio Society will most likely publish Piranesi as well someday. The next 2 special editions I want to spotlight today, both of them are from Inkstone Books. And the first one is for Coffee 3 by Aman Bedi. I did the cover reveal of this one last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was last year. And I have been looking forward to reading this one ever since then. The premise sounds great, and also the author's inspiration behind the creation of this debut novel sounds so fascinating to me. I mean, Berserk, and that alone is already enough to capture my attention. And then there's also Kaladin from the Stormlight Archive and more. All of them are exciting to me, and I hope this book will be as good as it sounds. And yes, Inkstone Books will be doing a special edition of this one. And then after that, the next one is about Sword Unbound by Gareth Hanrahan. This is the Inkstone edition as well, and this is the sequel to the Sword Defiant. I think Inkstone Books did the hardcover special edition of the Sword Defiant last year, and it is only proper and correct that they do a special edition of the sequel as well. And finally, the last special edition of the Spotlight is basically just an update from the Curious King. And if you are interested in Curious King production, which I am always interested, well, make sure to check out the blog post. Curious King just posted an update on their edition of Before They Are Hanged, and then the 5th season, Hyperion, and then A Legend by David Gemmell, and more. If you are a fan of Fine Press Edition and also a fan of Curious King, make sure to check out the update. I think for me, every update from the Curious King always excites me, even though there is a chance I won't be able to get them all, but they always excite me. It just makes me happy seeing someone being this passionate about book production and also book making. But yeah, that's on the topic of special edition. Before we close this episode of SFF Spotlight, I would like to talk about a few things about a noteworthy release and also about this video game and TV show. Let's talk about TV show first. This is about The Witcher. Although I no longer have any interest in watching The Witcher TV show adaptation, but it has been confirmed that Season 5 will be the end of The Witcher TV show adaptation. And yes, it will no longer, Geralt will no longer be played by Henry Cavill. And do let me know whether you are still interested in watching The Witcher or not. But on the topic of video game, this is about Tales of the Shire, or the cozy Lord of the Ring game. But after seeing the trailer, I have lost interest in this game. Not gonna lie, it looks it looks kind of like it's designed for kids, in my opinion. So I don't think I will be playing this one. But if you want to play a cozy game of The Hobbit in the Shire, then maybe you should take a look at the trailer and see whether this will be fitting to your taste or not. But speaking of Lord of the Rings, it has been confirmed that the original trilogy of The Lord of the Rings, one of my favorite movies of all time, is coming back to the theater. And it is the extended edition. 4 hours per movie, and means another experience in the theater again of experiencing the 12 hours of the greatest fantasy movies of all time. I think I would try to catch it on theater if it's available in my country. But finally, let's talk about noteworthy release. I have 3 books to spotlight today, and the first one, this is about The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan. This book, I have talked about it since last year, and it is finally out now. This is James Logan's debut novel. If you are a fan of Scott Lynch and also Joe Abercrombie, plus The Band by Nicholas Eames, I think this book is worth taking a look. And if you like the mentor and also the badass and the child trope that is available in Mistborn or in this book, I personally am a huge fan of this trope, and that's why this book clicked with me so well. One among many reasons why this book clicked with me so well. Then I think you should try reading The Silver Blood Promise. It won't break any new ground, but it is an incredibly entertaining debut novel from James Logan. And then after that, we have the release of Dragon Rider by Taran Mataru. I haven't read this book yet, but I'm a fan of Dragon Rider epic fantasy, so here's keeping my fingers crossed that Dragon Rider by Taran Mataru will be as good as The Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill, and also Dragon Mage by M.L. Spencer. And finally, the last noteworthy release on the Spotlight. This is about Legacy of the Watcher by David Dalglish. This is the 9th book in the Half-Orc series, and it is also the concluding volume to everything that David Dalglish published in the world of Dazeril, and there are many of them. I think in total, with Shadow Dance, Paladin, and more, I think in total we have more than 20 books. And this is Legacy of the Watcher is the concluding volume to them all. I haven't started reading anything in the world of Dazeril, including Shadow Dance, so if you are a fan of this one, the universe of Dazeril has reached the conclusion. And yeah, that's really all the news for today's episode of SFF Spotlight. That's about 20 topics, but do let me know. As always, do let me know which one of the topics that I spotlighted excite you the most, and I will try to be back with another SFF Spotlight episode as soon as I can. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye-bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.